Oops. Hello. Oops. Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Hello? Can you hear? Is this thing on? Don't weirdo. Yeah, well, Lacey Shrinks is first and Keto-ish is second. That's cool.
Yay.
How's
Hi,
everyone
guys.
doing? We've been
Perfect. I'm glad. Thank you for telling us. I always wonder.
Yeah, we've been trying to go live for a while, but our kids like talk to us and stuff.
Yeah.
And want us involved in their lives.
Which is good. It's a good thing.
What?
Moderator.
Oh, no.
Words. Okay. Yeah. So we are here. We have been getting tons and tons of comments on this last video in particular. And so we pulled some questions out of there, and then just as people join, we'll see what other things come up, and yay.
Yeah, I posted that video about my labs, my stupid labs, and I think it broke the internet. Last I looked, it was like over 150,000 views, and yeah, I stirred the pot on that one.
Yeah.
So
well, and it's funny too, because my reaction is like, oh, I want people to watch the videos, and then we've got like, oh no, people are watching all the videos. Like, this feels overwhelming. So it's been really kind of interesting.
Awesome. Yeah, we're already getting tons of comments here.
Yeah. So, I mean, we might as well just jump right into it. So Keto-ish is asking us about the menu for tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I am eating turkey.
Yeah.
That's my mother was like, what else can I make for you? I'm like, you don't have to do anything special for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll eat just turkey. I can go out without food for a while if I need to.
Yeah, but we told her he would eat turkey, and if we thought that wouldn't be enough, we would bring a meat dish to share. So
yeah, I'll put something in my sous vide machine so I have something when I get home tomorrow night if I need something.
Yeah.
I cannot remember the last time I ate turkey though.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know you've had chicken occasionally, but I don't know about turkey.
Probably 8 months.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to my mom's house. We're going to have a lot of the normal non-keto things available. So
yeah,
it'll be mostly turkey, that is.
Yeah, so what are you doing?
Way to call me out there. I am going to eat Thanksgiving dinner with my family, and I don't know, the goal is I have never been a big fan of like eating until I feel sick. So I don't plan on doing that tomorrow either. But just in moderation, I think it's okay to have a day where it is what it is.
You want that up or down?
I want it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hands off.
We've rearranged ourselves so I can handle some of the comments and put things up on the screen.
I cannot multitask or even regular task.
Well, so Lacey is jumping in here and she wants to know, nope, I didn't show it. There we go. The newest update from the last video. Did we get a second opinion?
I got about 3,500 opinions. Actually, I got a couple leads on potential new doctors. Mm-hmm. I did sit down last night for over an hour or about an hour with a guy named Bronson Dent from ultimateketogenicfitness.com. And he answered all my questions and we talked about my labs, and he's a carnivore ketogenic coach, and he runs a CrossFit gym and all these things. And he was able to just sit with me and we had just an amazing chat, and I'm going to bring that video to you soon. Mm-hmm. But the more I got from those test results, the more I realized a lot of things are going in the right way. Yeah. You know, my A1C was just up a couple points. not points of points, right? Tens of points?
Yes.
Okay. Tens. And it wasn't a big deal. I might have been overeating some protein. That was about it.
Yeah. And I think, obviously, I wasn't part of that conversation, but I think I'm excited to watch it too, just kind of see the conversation there and just what tweaks can be made to even improve those labs a little bit more, and just get them somewhere that you feel comfortable with and that maybe one day your doctor feels comfortable with, but I'm not sure that'll happen. So
one thing that we did talk about, he says that most doctors have about 4 hours worth of nutrition training of the whole time they're training to be doctors. I'm like, well, I got more training than that. I spent more than 4 hours trying to think about or learn about these things. So I'm not saying I'm smarter than my doctor, but I'm responsible for my health, so I'm trying, and I'm getting those opinions. I'm really trying. Yeah,
and it's been interesting too, because there's been a lot of people that have shared, hey, you should check this out, or there were a couple doctors that said, hey, give us a call, like we'll offer you free consultations essentially. So just some of those things that people in that community are reaching out and saying, I think has been really good and really interesting. And maybe, one guy, I couldn't tell if he was pro carnivore or not, but even getting an opinion from somebody that isn't fully sold out on this diet, offers some sort of insight and something different to bring to the table too. So
yeah, and the reality is like, I'm on a carnivore diet. I tried it because it seemed extreme. Because I wanted to heal my body and I wanted to get away from carbs and sugars and stuff like that. So 8 months of this, I'm just trying this. Am I a sold out carnivore? I don't even know what that means.
Well, Lacey wants to know if you're quitting too.
Well, I haven't quit. Yeah. That last video I came out, was like, I quit. I can't do this anymore. And I just shared what was going on in my heart, in my brain at that moment. And I'm often conflicted, and I'm like, I quit. I can't do this anymore. But like, well, why would I quit? Because I've lost a bunch of weight. I feel stronger than ever. I'm more hopeful than ever. Why would I quit? Well, because the numbers weren't exactly what I was expecting, but I also didn't know how to interpret those numbers correctly either. So I got schooled pretty good on this, and there's a lot of nuance to these things. And but no, I am not quitting. My goal is to go at least a year on a carnivore.
Yeah.
And not saying I would do something drastic at that point, but I'm about ready to start dialing this in, right? But nothing really, like, what am I going to do? Eat a green bean out of the garden? Maybe, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's not.
Yeah. And we were talking earlier, like, we are sharing this journey with you guys, but it's a personal journey. Like, health decisions are personal. And so, he sees his doctor and they have conversations about it. Everybody should probably have some sort of conversation, and make those own personal decisions in their own life. Like, we're not doctors. We are still learning. And there is so much information out there. Like, sometimes it can just be really overwhelming. So just, I've really appreciated watching him sit down and take the time to read through it and try to understand it and not make hasty decisions one way or the other. So that it's just been really interesting, but
but one thing is, like, with all the information, sometimes learning too much is too much information. You just get confused. And so, I also just step out on faith a little bit, and I try to prayerfully ask, like, is this something I'm supposed to do? I mean, because I don't know all the things, nor will I ever know all the things,
right?
Nor will anyone that's watching or anyone that someone suggests. But I am willing to learn. I always think it's good to be a student. It's always good to be a student. And once you think you know everything, you're pretty much useless.
And then we stop learning. And
I don't tell my kids that.
Yep. And Ketoish just said it's hard to sift through all the information. Prayer is essential. And I think that's something we've absolutely found. And I told Aaron too that I was going to stop reading the comments because there were so many conflicting things. I didn't want to allow myself to get to a place of worry where I was concerned about, not that I'm not concerned about his health, but in a worrying or fear-based place, because he is doing the research and he is taking the time to figure it out. And so, well, on paper, some of those numbers might look intimidating to me. I can trust that he's not doing this.
Conventional wisdom.
I can trust that he's not going into it blindly. And if there's something that needs to be changed, we'll make those tweaks and whatever. But at some point I can't keep reading all of the things and say, okay, like this is getting overwhelming.
I'm glad my wife brought that up, because it's one of those things that, when you get thousands of messages saying you're killing yourself, it's hard for your spouse not to be like, I hope they live.
Yeah. I have 8 babies. Like, let's do this together.
I came on the side to try to stick around.
Yeah.
Right. And I've seen success in it, and people have a lot of opinions about those things, about which kind of diet I should do. And I mean, I'm looking into this stuff. This has worked well for me. I know I'm going to have to be a low carb man.
Yeah.
A low carb man.
Yeah. So long term, like, we'll keep tweaking things.
Speaking of funny comments, I got a comment yesterday that said a bunch of stuff, salt is bad for you, blah, blah, blah. And then he said, hey, essentially he said that I look like an off-brand Chris Pratt. So if I ever make a shirt that says off-brand Chris Pratt with my face on it, would you buy one of those? Because I think he was trying to offend me. I was like,
that's hilarious.
I am an off-brand Chris Pratt.
Yep. Hi, Aaron.
Aaron Gildrose. What's up, man? Louisiana, but it's not as cold as here in Ohio.
Yeah, it's got chilly here.
He's a farmer I met at QuailCon. Amazing guy. He has a family farm too.
Yes, off-brand, like the generic. Yep.
Or the discount off-brand Chris Pratt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I might be older than that guy. Maybe he's an off-brand of me.
Maybe. You're the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. What else we got over here? I was going to ask you, fright. You said you're going to do turkey with skin. Are you frying it? How do you get the skin delicious? I always feel like when it's just kind of roasted, it's still kind of slimy for me.
Is that why you never eat the skin?
That is why I never eat the skin. So I'm just curious.
I'll eat the skin.
Yes.
Probably raises my cholesterol.
That's fair. You want to look at some of these questions over here?
Yeah, there was some other questions on there too also.
Okay. So this one says, hold on, let me click the buttons. That's not what I want.
Just hit the button.
Oh, there we go. Have you tried talking to Dr. Sten Ekberg?
I have not tried talking to the Dr. Stein, but I did get like a bunch of recommendations to his videos, and I did a reaction video to it that I'll release here soon. I sat down, was learning about LDL cholesterol and just insulin levels in the body, and it was very informative. So I'll bring that to you guys soon.
All right, let's see. This one was asking about your A1C. It says A1C wouldn't really go up on a strict carnivore. Are you sure you're not eating a fair amount of carbs with the meals? So
maybe. So I just found out that eggs have 0.06 grams of carbs in them.
No, 0.6.
Yeah, that one. So yes, I am having some carbs, but I guarantee my carb intake for a day is max 10. If it's a day I put cream in my coffee, which I gave up the caffeine. I did get some decaf though, so it's about but I'm almost 2 weeks in on giving up caffeine. But I don't know why it went up 2 points. Some people say that too much protein will do gluconeogenesis and raise your blood sugar sometimes. The one thing that I did realize that did change during that time is that I stopped running for that 3 months because I broke my foot.
Yeah.
I did do some exercises, lifting weights, some weight training, but my cardio went way down because I really couldn't do too much. Because I broke my foot. Yeah, and Ketoish just said, I wonder if too much protein can also raise the A1C. Yeah, I've heard conflicting messages on that, right? I've heard some people, yes. So the trick is, from what I've gleaned, is that I got to make sure I eat enough fat, right? And that will help counteract some of that, even if I'm eating over abundant of protein. But after talking to that trainer last night, he's going to dial me on a regimen of like how much protein and fat that I should have for my size and weight. And he's like, he wants me to get down to 205 pounds. So that's another 25 pounds I need to lose. So we'll see if I could be a light heavyweight.
Hi, Mom.
Is your mom on there?
My mom just jumped on.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Either that or somebody imitating my mom.
Someone with your mom's name.
Yep. So if you're not my mom, well, that's weird. But yeah, you want me to touch on?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. So actually, this is the second comment from this person about cholesterol levels and just concern that it is really high and that you have, this is the first one, which I think is something you've looked into before too.
Yeah. So I'm not an expert when it comes to cholesterol, but my LDL cholesterol seems high, but there's a lot of evidence out there for people on low carb diets that doesn't really matter. What you need to really matter is the trends of your HDL and your triglycerides. And as long as that good cholesterol is going up and the triglycerides are going down, you should be good. And looking over those numbers and getting a coach looking at these things, he was like, you're trending in the right direction. And so we'll see what happens the next time my doctor makes me take labs.
Yeah.
Or I get a new doctor and they want to try some new labs, but it's trending in the right direction. And I know I can get one of those calcium scores. My guess is going to come back clean because I'm, 44. I'm still pretty young. They say a lot of times that won't build up till later, but I'm not as concerned about it. I've watched a bunch of videos about it recently that have put me at peace.
So yes. And so, yeah, I think these are all things that we're kind of learning and figuring out as we go. What do the labs really mean? Not just conventional interpretations, but with research that's coming out, what do they really mean? What does that really look like? How do we take that knowledge and make healthy choices? Like all of that just takes a lot of time and practice and energy. And it's not easy to do.
Yeah. And it says Mr. Kilby. That is my father.
But it was respectful. I appreciate
that. I wanted to be a comedian, but no one laughed at my jokes. So.
Yep. And so Ketoish said she'd be worried about the statin causing long-term damage to the intestine. Have you done research of the side effects of statin? I know that was, I think, one of the other questions on there.
No.
Not yet.
I mean, I know that it is the most hated drug that has ever came out. I think there was a lot of problems up front. I know there's different options for those right now. My father has been on one for 20, 25 years, he told me, and hasn't had a problem. And my goal was to try to get it fixed with diet if I can.
Yeah.
And I think I'm doing that, even though my LDL is higher total cholesterol, but my numbers are turning in the right way. And so statins, I could do more research on it, but no, I don't know all the problems with statins, but I have heard, which I read today, which I don't know if it's true or not, said that once you get on one, you have to take one forever. And if you get off one after you've taken it, it greatly increases your risk by 50% for heart attack. I'm like, well,
not insignificant.
If that's true, that's So, I mean, I'm still learning.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, the reality is, the thing that got me is my doctor didn't tell me anything about diet or anything, or explain to me my numbers or how these things work. Right. I'm not sure they're even supposed to. Right. But the fact that he didn't tell me and just said, take this pill, I was like, well, no, hold on. It's like, I need to read the contract first.
Right.
Before I sign it.
Right. And my doctor put me on a statin too. My numbers are not like his, but like they were high. And I started taking it, and Ketoish, I think, said daughter and mom had, I didn't show it.
You got it. Yeah. Click it. You got to click
severe arm pain, and I felt like my joint pain got worse.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I was complaining to him about it. I'm like, maybe it's seasonal, maybe it's just like this is a weird fluke. But my hands hurt more when I was taking it, so I stopped taking it, and they went back to normal. But yeah, I mean, even the small side effects if I saw within the first month of taking them.
So your father was on a statin, and then he switched to doctor, which was recommended to me. They took him off it immediately.
Yeah.
So
we'll probably try and look into consultations with doctors that are at least open to not putting you on medicine that can either be treated another way or isn't absolutely necessary. So we're at this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Carnivore MD interviewed Dr. Michael Twyman, cardiologist. Great interview if you've not seen it. I have not seen it. I did watch Carnivore MD talking with Dr. Ken Berry today. So yes, I have actually heard of Dr. Ken Berry.
Sean Baker, Ken Berry. There's Jordan Peterson. I think it's funny. Funny is probably not the right word, but kind of funny when those comments come up a lot. Hey, have you heard of this guy? Like, if you've watched the videos at all, like we've referenced them a lot, but again, people are taking the time to respond and try and offer information. So I can always appreciate that.
I got the Dr. Ken Berry tattoo. So
about HDL and LDL. Yeah, we'll have to check that out. Maybe. Maybe.
I've watched a couple videos on it, so I am learning. And I know, there's dense stuff and there's fluffy stuff. Obviously, I'm not talking like a doctor.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And sorry, I zone out every once in a while because I'm reading comments and figuring out where we're going after this. But yeah, and let's see. Let's go back over here. This one was interesting because you got a lot of comments about stress on that last video. How does stress and cortisol increase cholesterol? I hear a ton of stress in this video. This was a comment actually taken off of that last video. Yes, all the beautiful kids are his. Yes, I see why you may be stressed.
We have 8 biological children. Yes, I have actually been under a lot of stress. My work is stressful. It's slowing down a little bit. My house is pretty stressful. We got a lot of small kids that I say, no yelling in the house. And they're like, ah, and I'm like, ah.
It can be piercing.
We're taking parenting classes on Wednesday.
Our kids are awesome, but they are kids. And I think that's important to throw out there. Our kids are fantastic.
And there's a lot of them. So we have unique challenges and it's just for a season. And I really try to not get too stressed about it. I have thought, I probably need to chill a little bit more, get off my phone, get off the YouTube. And there's some things I could do better that I have done better in my life. More study time. So I am upping my exercise regimen. So I get a little bit more time out walking or running or just a little bit more chill time for meditation or prayer. And for personal study. And those things have always really helped me along. And and that video also, everyone's like, you need to calm down. You're so stressed. I'm like, I edited that thing like crazy and just like made it fast paced. I'm like, nah, I was just trying to show an inner conflict. And
I mean,
I don't talk that fast.
No, I talk fast. He does not.
I'm a little slow.
There was a strong reaction to those labs because I think just because they weren't what you were expecting necessarily. And so some of that comes across in that video, but not nearly as much as I think people are reading it.
Yeah. And a lot of people took that as like, oh, the diet you're on is killing you and you shouldn't be on this diet. Essentially, everyone said saying that I should go, not everyone, like half of everyone saying I should go whole foods plant-based. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is. So I've been doing some research into that. Essentially, I think it's just a vegan diet that you might be able to add some meat on eventually. But I'm looking into these things because I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah. This one says, on your diet, you never talk about calories. Isn't the carnivore diet a way to avoid the calorie issue?
For me, I think yes, at first, for sure. people talk about burning calories.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an open system here. You know, I'm not a furnace. I'm a biological system. We don't burn calories. It's not even the right vernacular for these things. And people will often say calories in, calories out, but there's more nuance to those things. And I would suggest anyone that tries it not worry about that too much, because you got enough. You know, you're limiting your diet, and I think over time it'll kind of even out. And if you're getting a little bit more than your caloric intake, at least you're not under eating.
Right.
Because being hungry is not natural for a human being. Us starving to death and not consuming enough to feel full is not natural. There's no other mammal that does that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my dog's not going to stop eating food until it's full. Why should I? And then be hungry all the time and cranky, right? No.
Right.
You got to, you know, if I'm going to get close to my caloric intake or pay attention to it, I'm going to eat nutrient dense foods that make sure I'm getting the energy I need.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully my body will just automatically drop that fat. So it's not calories in, calories out exactly. And obviously I'm just spouting a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a regular guy that's been learning.
Yep.
But
we're not doctors. We're not yet.
I mean, yes, I would say at first,
things.
and I've been really resistant to weighing my food or
Mm-hmm.
all those things, but I thought a few months ago, maybe I should pay attention. And I kind of didn't go with my gut. I kind of didn't go with my gut because it was easy not to. Now I'm going to learn a couple new things about, you know, what a gram is.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I do see some comments just real quick about different supplements and different medications that we can look into. And I'm not going to put those up on the screen, but all these comments saved. So we will go back and look into some of those. Just because, again, we're not doctors and we don't have time to do research while we're sitting right here. So we're certainly not going to recommend them, you know, whatever, without having looked into them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I appreciate that. I want you all to know, I appreciate the fact that you guys are taking the time to say, hey, look into this, try this, because I mean, again, going back to the comments on that video, you're killing yourself, you're whatever. Like, this is so much more helpful. And I'm nagging because I care is awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah.
I mean, the only supplement I took the first 90 days was salting my water. And then after that, I got some of that keto chow, like daily minerals. So I had potassium and magnesium, just to be careful. And I just added in vitamin D, which I wasn't, because I've been taking that every year because I get sad every year. And so I've added some of that in.
Yep.
I try to stay away from a lot of supplements because I want to get the nutrition from my food if I can. But I'm not against them.
That's kind of a starting point. Yeah. And then, you know, we'll do what you need to do. Chris asked, what exercises are you doing to burn the glucose?
Jazzercising. I guess, I mean, if I could pull it up. Right now I'm running again 3 days a week. I'm upping that to 5. I'm hitting my bench presses. I'm doing my lats. I'm doing curls. I'm doing some shoulder work. I'm doing squats while holding dumbbells. And when I watch a show with my wife at night, I'm doing, what are those called?
Leg lifts?
Yeah, leg lifts.
Yeah.
And so I'm just, so my goal is to get abs this year.
Me too. I think they're in there somewhere.
I mean, I think I saw abs, you know, when I was 25, but yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to. And, I mean, if any glucose that I'm eating is my body made it, because I'm not eating glucose. Yeah. If I have any glucose to burn, my body made it. Thank you, liver.
Ketoish, I'm sure they're hiding in there. We can find them together. Let me see if I can push this. I have been trying to do the leg lifts, and I'm telling you, I have such a hard time doing it, and I have lower back pain, and so I think I do have some issues I need to correct there. But
I mean, I'd be thankful for one ab.
Right. The hint of an ab.
Click that Pafford Homestead.
Yes, they opened with "Howdy y'all," which I like. That's
Howdy,
a fun
y'all.
greeting.
go check out a doctor here on YouTube, Dr. Ken Berry. I was just joking because I said I have his tattoo on my shoulder about keto. He wrote a book called Lies My Doctor Told Me. I got the audiobook and I finished it. Great book. I recommend it to anybody. Yeah. And I also learned in that book that I could swim right after eating. Yes. Yeah. Good book. Good recommendation.
Yep. Let's see. So cod liver oil. I was told to take a fish oil supplement too. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of good supplements out there for different things, and just figuring out the right combination can take time and figuring out what you really need.
Yeah. And so I instituted Fish Fridays. I don't always adhere to it, but fish on Fridays. And then when I realized I could buy sardines, which I mean, no one else but me and my family will eat those things in water.
So I'm like, safe.
I eat those. And I do have some cod oil. I do have some cod oil medication that for the omega-3s that I literally got yesterday. So we'll see if that does anything, because I don't live near the ocean.
Right.
So, I don't live near the ocean. So I need to make sure I get some of those meats also.
Yeah. I thought this comment was interesting.
Okay.
Is it possible that the nurse or tech who took your blood pressure just did it badly, like she isn't taking it right?
Maybe. Interestingly enough, I just got a comment from a gentleman that was telling me that I need to make sure to have my arm at heart level when I take my blood pressure. And definitely when I'm at the doctor, they just have me down like this. So I did a test. I did it like this, and it was elevated. And I did it like this, and it was perfect. Wow. I wish they would have told me that.
Well, so then of course I walked in there and go, okay, but does it matter? Like, is one of them right and one of them's wrong?
Yeah. I did a little bit of research. I just learned this, an hour and a half ago, that if it's up above the heart, you can go to low reading that's just not accurate. And if it's low, you could get a high reading that's not accurate. I would think if they're going to put people on medication, they should maybe start with making sure people have the right posture before they take the blood pressure. And maybe a massage first. Right?
Okay.
Hey, listen, if I was in charge of the medical system, free massage before you get your blood pressure. For anyone with their white coat syndrome card.
Yeah. They want to know, do you check your blood pressure at home?
Yes, I check it all the time. And I get weird oddball high readings every once in a while, but I always say it's about 130 to 136 over 82 to 88. Sometimes I get one high, but like when I did the one where my arm was just like this, it was like 125 over like 80. I was like, leave me alone. Just leave me alone.
Well, and when he said that, I was like, that seems like way better than not. Like, that seems a lot lower and a lot calmer than normal. So let's see. So sardines or herring? Sardines or herring?
I mean, I like it.
Whole cod. I do whole cod livers. They're yummy. So like actual cod, can you do cod livers from like actual livers from cod? Interesting. That's cool.
I have not had cod liver. I do know that a lot of fish livers are not edible, but what is this? A video on solace exercise?
I'll have to check that out too.
A video on a solace exercise for lowering blood glucose. Pretty cool. I'll look into that.
Keto-ish says, I like the idea of...
Is she like your best friend or something?
Well, there's lots of comments. Great comments. Although I'm not sure that the carnivores are going to go for hot cocoa. But I'm on board. I mean, I would drink it.
I know, yeah. I don't even remember what chocolate tastes like. Okay. I just visualized a steak or a Hershey's bar.
Oh, I would take the steak.
Steak every time.
Steak over a Hershey's bar for sure. Once I had my blood pressure taken by a woman that kept asking me questions. Talking raises blood pressure too. I'll take the massage. Yeah. See, I think we're onto something.
I mean, hey, maybe that's a good shirt. I'll take the massage.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yep. Keto says we're besties. So there you go.
Oh, that's funny. Keto-ish. Just to let you know, I actually put your name in as a moderator, so you could kick any of these people out if you want.
Well, very good comments today, though. So far, so good.
My wife needs friends.
I do need friends. That's for sure. Actually, I was thinking, side note, there's no way to get messages on YouTube, is there?
What do you mean?
So, like, can people send us direct messages on YouTube like you can on Instagram and stuff?
I think so.
Okay, well, if you can, there you go. If not, at the Kilby Life on Instagram is also a good way to actually get one of us.
Yeah, that reminds me. Something crazy. I got an email the other day, and they just sent me another one saying, "Hey, we're eligible for YouTube memberships." I'm like, why would anyone want to be a member of our channel? That makes no sense to me. But I did set it up. It's just like an avenue for people to have like emojis and special badges and stuff like that. And we're going to work on like behind the scenes access and maybe access the videos.
We're making it up as we go.
I'm drinking water out of a fire hydrant over here. But I thought it was just like, it was one of those things like, I can't believe, we got to that point just because I put a video out of trying to get my health in check and just putting yourself out on the internet. So it's a very humbling thing.
Yeah. So again, we're just trying to figure out kind of what the different levels and what that might look like. But I mean, an opportunity. We'll see. And it gives us, I think setting it up gives us the opportunity to learn about it and play with it a little bit more than.
Yeah. And so greatly what I realized on this last video that went pretty viral and it caused a lot of commotion on the internet is that I can't get to those comments.
Right.
I can manage some comments. I try to look at them, but I can't even, there's too many. There's like 3,000, something like that. I cannot get to them. But, I've had some emails sent because people found my email, and I've had conversations on the phone with people about this. And that's awesome. I appreciate these things. People was like, I cannot go through the day. I cannot go finish the rest of my day unless I tell you these things. And I'm like, someone cared about me that much. It's so humbling.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, this memberships and then access to like I think we're going to work on like our own Facebook thing. Probably nothing extensive other than the fact that I would like to be able to have good communication with the people that outside of a lot of the noise. Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah. I think just being able to kind of pare down that audience to the people that are either in the same boat or doing this on the same kind of journey, or just have good questions. I mean, I think that kind of helps take the noise away for everybody. Cause like I said, I can't even go back and read all those comments. It's just overwhelming at some point. So
yeah, I would say if you see any replies with typos, that was me.
Yeah, I mean, I have tried to keep up with the comments on videos that I posted, but I get like 20, so it's a lot easier. So there's that.
I misspelled answers on our thumbnail today.
Yep.
So I'm glad I got married.
Mudhog, you say you're working on getting. Oh, got it. You're 63 and trying to make. Yes. Keep going.
Yeah,
keep going. You got this.
63. That's the new 43. I just made that
up. Let's see. 5 coffees a week.
63. That's about our parents' ages.
Yes. Yep. So cutting back on
the coffee. Yes. I filmed myself whining into a camera for days because I gave up caffeine. My head hurt so bad.
Yeah.
Then I started drinking a little bit of decaf because I realized that it wasn't about after the addiction was gone. It was more about the routine of something hot to drink, which was nice. So I have noticed a difference in my attitude and my energy level after giving up caffeine. And I'm still passing headache every once in a while, but I'm thankful that I did it because I thought I couldn't and I was worried about it. And I stuck to it and I did it, for one. And two, I say half jokingly, because if I ever have caffeine again, it'll be really good.
Get a lot done that day.
Yeah. Performance enhancing.
Oh my. Let's see. I was maintaining. Yep. I have not cut out coffee either, although I don't think I drank it quite as much as you did. But yeah, I feel like it's one of those things that I just really enjoy it in the morning, specifically when I'm sitting and reading my Bible or whatever else. Nice warm cup of coffee makes me happy.
Yeah. I see some people said hello.
Yes, I was going to say, I saw Ian up there. I think I missed a couple other ones.
Hey, Ian, welcome.
Yep, we're glad you're here. And then you were asked if you keep track of your blood pressure, so that way when you go into the doctor's office, they can see kind of where you're at. Yeah. Do you bring those numbers with you?
I have not, and my initial thought was like, I don't think they'll care.
Yeah, I mean, that's legitimate.
I don't think they'll care. Maybe they will. Maybe that's not fair. But it might be fair.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they haven't noticed that you've lost weight, I'm not sure that they're going to care about your homemade blood pressure chart.
Yeah, the doctor's like, oh, you're 4 pounds different. It's like, oh, in the wrong direction. I'm like, I drink 4 pounds of water in the morning.
Can we talk about how great it was last time?
Maybe 2, but
yeah.
4 pounds at someone my size is nothing. It's not even a big deal. I'm not worried about it. It's funny is because I went and weighed myself the day after that and I was down. So what am I supposed to do? I'm not worrying about that. But that's why I'm going to dial some things in. And I got one of those. I was recommended by the coach to get a body composition scale. And so I'm going to start experimenting in that and see what this thing, tells me how much body fat I have. The way that I was judging it before is if it jiggled. I heard the saying, if it jiggles, it's fat. Why lie? So
it's legitimate. So lots of conversation about coffee. Butter in coffee reduces anxiety and cortisol. I
love butter in coffee. It's good. Unless it gets in my mustache and I don't wipe it off and I can smell it later. That's kind of weird.
That is kind of weird. Ian says he only drinks 1 coffee a day at work.
Yep.
I feel like I'm in the same boat. And even I wonder too, though, if it's not the caffeine, but just the ritual of it. Like your body is so
the caffeine helps.
Well, yeah, that's
the coach I was talking to last night. Thanks, Bronson. Was saying that he has to have a cup of coffee because if he doesn't, he tried to give it up and it was like he just couldn't get going in the morning quite the same. But for me, I'm okay with that because I feel like I might need to slow down a little bit right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I need to work on getting through some mental hurdles without that running to that as a boost. I want a natural boost.
Yeah, like almost like any addiction.
Yeah.
You want to see, can I get over it? Can I do something different? Is this actually something that's helping me or just a mental thing? Whatever. I think
it's both. I see nothing wrong with drinking coffee, but I do see something wrong when something has a control or a chain on you.
Yes.
And you feel like you can't break away from it or get out of it.
Yeah. And I get migraines if I drink a ton of caffeine and then don't. I get migraines. So this is gonna sound terrible, but like if I know we're going on vacation or I'm gonna be out of my normal routine, I will try really hard to cut way back on coffee so that I don't end up in that situation. And I still usually bring Advil migraine with me.
Yeah. So Frey said down. Is that the DEXA scan? And I don't believe it is. It's on my list to look up the DEXA scan and see where I can get one of those. But this is it's more of an estimated BMI that kind of does that kind of stuff, and so it's not as accurate, but
yeah,
I feel like I looked into that and they might have been expensive. I can't remember.
So Keto Wish again said she was doing butter in her coffee, put on 7 pounds in 3 months. I wondered if it was butter, so I cut it out and the weight immediately started coming back down. And then G Smothers says butter made me lose weight. So again, I think our bodies are all different and it's okay to acknowledge that.
And I think it's awesome that you guys ate butter. I mean, it's really awesome that you're paying attention to those things.
Yeah.
And you can hone the things in.
Oh yeah. So he said sometimes I do warm water. I actually had coffee the other night with a friend. We were drinking tea, but same idea. And when her cup of tea was gone, she said, I'm just going to get warm water because I like having something in my hand to drink and, that's warm. And I thought that's really interesting because, I would go back for another cup of whatever with the calories from the cream or the carbs from the cream, whatever it may be. And so just kind of switching to the warm water or not necessarily having to keep refilling that one particular beverage, I think is a really smart idea. And I don't know why I hadn't really thought about it up until that point. Yeah, and Jason Others, I drink hot water daily. And I feel like I heard somewhere that there were health benefits to that too, but I could totally be making that up.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was going to do some bone broth, but it'd break me out of fasting.
Yeah.
So that was my plan, but I'm like, well, I'm trying to fast a little bit more and not like just intermittently have a smaller eating window.
Yes.
Just to kind of hone that stuff in. Hone it in.
Yeah. Let's see. Are you using marinades?
No. Unless salt and butter is a marinade, because I will put steaks in my sous vide, like the vacuum seal bag, and fill it with butter and salt, and then put it in there and just marinate it in butter and salt.
Yeah.
So other than that, no marinades.
Do you cook with vegetable oil?
No, I save all my bacon fat, and I had some beef short ribs I bought that were like no rib, just rib and fat.
Yeah.
So I got a bunch of beef fat that I was able to drip, and no, I don't use any of that. And also I have a hookup over at the Mexican market right down the street where they sell all their big vats of lard, because they make these chicharrones where they take pork belly and they fry it. This is me cheating on the carnivore diet. I go over there and they cut the pork fat and they fry it in lard, and it comes out the most amazing, beautiful thing that I've ever witnessed, other than my wife and children. It is so good. And I brought it to a party and everyone's like, this is amazing.
Where did you get these?
But I cook the stuff in that fat. It's like, and then I finish with butter.
Yep. And so
it doesn't burn.
We have this one too. What are you cooking the meat in? How are you cooking meat?
So I try not to cook in butter. Yeah. So bacon fat, beef fat, pork fat, and I indiscriminate on which ones I use. I like the smoking point of any of those. I don't really cook in the butter until later because I like it for the flavor, or put it on so I could eat it, kind of with the steak. But yeah, just meat-based fat.
Yeah. She was saying, I keep saying she. I apologize. It's what's coming to mind.
Just click the button.
Not that one. This one. Beef fat upset my stomach for some reason. And we heard that from somebody else too, that they were having an issue with beef. And I think, again, it goes back to knowing your body and how you react to different things and figuring out what really works well for you and what you have good access to and all those things. Like he happened to find a hookup for this lard, but what's available in your area that works well for you.
I did have a problem with lamb fat because I bought a whole lamb last year because I was like, oh, you could buy those at Costco. So I bought a whole entire lamb because I wanted to practice butchering a lamb. And so I butchered it myself and I was eating it, and I ate a bunch of the fat on the end. Man, that it did not sit well with me.
No.
So I still got another one in the freezer.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vegetable oil is really horrible.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. I feel like we might have some in our house still that we use like in baking cakes and stuff like that, but I don't buy that.
I mean,
often.
if you're going to have to use, if you did anything other than animal-based fats for cooking. You do fruit-based ones, so olive oil, coconut, and avocado would probably be the least egregious ones. But just be careful if you like don't use those. Just be careful because I know some people do react to those things. Everyone's has a different physiology when it comes to those types of things.
Yeah. I thought this one was interesting. Why are you getting labs done? If you're a strict carnivore, don't bother. My bet is that you cheat from time to time.
Okay, so I'm getting my labs done so I could go viral on the internet. Actually, my insurance requires me to go get checkups, and so there's that. I was interested to kind of see where I'm at metabolically. My bit is that you cheat from time to time. So I was talking about this. So during gardening season, in the first 90 days, there was a couple times I took a little cherry tomato and popped it in my mouth. Okay.
Gotcha.
I did that. After my 90-day challenge, I was going to have a cheat meal, but I said, nah, I'm not going to do it. So I waited a couple weeks and I had a few pot stickers, right? And I was like, these aren't that good. So I'm like, whatever. A few more months went by and I was like, my wife's like, hey, I'm going to the Jaffa Grill, Mediterranean food. And I was like, do you know what? Give me a side of hummus to dip this steak in. So, I guess I did cheat. It just depends what you call cheating or not. Did I look at the hummus? No, I ate the hummus. So,
and keeping in mind that it is made fresh in the restaurant, like it's not processed, it's not made with like all kinds of chemicals. So
in other words, I don't want to come across disingenuous at all, because you can get really in the weeds when it comes to cheating or not. So I don't consider those cheatings because I never gave up. I never said, screw this, screw that. I'm just going to go eat a burrito. I'm going to go eat a hamburger with a bun. I never did any of those things. Everything I had was like a condiment or just a little dabble. But we have been out to eat places. We've been over to people's houses, and I am not just like, well, I'm here, so now I'll eat these things. Now, if I got invited to the Pope's house, which is never going to happen, or the Vatican, and he said, eat this food, I'd say, okay, whatever. It's something special. I mean, I wouldn't make a big stink of it. And because I don't want to be too dogmatic or ideological on it, but I also don't want to be disingenuous when I say I don't cheat. I feel like I don't cheat, and it just depends on your definition of cheating.
Right.
And I guess,
Well, and it's funny because you get comments from people that are like, if you put anything in your mouth other than meat, you are not a carnivore, which I get. I mean, technically, that's probably true because you're eating something that isn't meat. But at the same time, I think we can get super legalistic about those rules. And I like this comment. A couple cherry tomatoes isn't going to do a thing. Fresh hummus isn't bad. A few pot stickers and all this time isn't the end of the world.
I know it's not.
But and I think that's the key there, where it's a few pot stickers in all this time, not a few pot stickers every meal or a few, like whatever. And so moderation, I think, is really good when it comes to those sorts of things, and knowing what those limits are, and actually not even introducing enough stuff to say, okay, well, it is okay more often, or it is okay, like building up to a tolerance of it again, like knowing what you can handle as far as even the temptation to eat more things. Because
my desire is really changed. And honestly, just not to be weird, but like I started tearing up a little bit because it's like, I'm trying to do this well, for myself and for my family. Yeah. I think God's involved in it. And for the people that are watching this live or watching any of my videos, I'm trying to do it well for all of us. Yeah. And so I don't want to be disingenuous on that. But I also know that I will not die if I popped a cherry tomato in my mouth. It's not a big deal. Yeah. But I feel like I have a little bit of control, and I don't have a strong desire for it right now. And I don't want to go back to where I was. Right. But I also have a lot of life in front of me where it'd be nice to remember what something tastes like.
Yeah.
So I went from 30 days to 90 days, from 90 days to 6 months, and tomorrow will be 8 months on this diet. And so I've had a little bit of other things. But I'll tell you, spirit of the law, I'm proud of myself. I mean, she could attest to it. I'm not upstairs, eating Cheetos in bed.
Nope. No. And so I think that's one of the differences between us too, where it's like he can have pot stickers once and not crave them and dream about them.
No, they were crap.
Yeah.
My favorite pot stickers too. They were crap.
And that's true.
It ruined it.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
And even the hummus, I've gotten that a couple of times now since I've been off of carnivore. And I definitely think it's permissible, but I'm like, this just tastes different. Like it's weird. But I have kind of the opposite issue where if I introduce something back in, then now all of a sudden it's okay all the time because I have some of those self-control issues. But at the same time, I don't like being told what I can and can't eat. So I also have like this rebellion in me that's like, oh.
Yeah, and part of the reason when I saw my A1C go up like 0.2 of a point, I was disappointed because I wanted to be like 4.7 to be like, heck yeah. Right before you know it, I can have asparagus with my wife at dinner.
Yes, it was delicious. By the way, thank you.
Yeah, so I made ribeyes. And I made her grilled them, and I made her some asparagus. She likes to have a little bit of greens, something like that. I was gonna get broccoli because she likes that,
I do like broccoli.
Which is a level 1 carcinogen. So is the meat, I guess, but
well, and
everything's trying to kill us.
Yeah. So I was having a conversation with a friend the other day. We were talking about dieting stuff, and we came to the conclusion we can all pretty much agree processed foods are not ideal. After that, sometimes it feels like a pick your poison. And I know that there's different levels of things, but it's like, there's research out there that supports everything being horrible and everything being great. And it gets really overwhelming sometimes. Yeah. And so, just making those decisions, what's going to be permissible for me? How do I feel when I'm eating different things? I don't know. Those are the things that matter, I think. Let me see this. So Pafford Homestead, let's see if I can get up there, said, I have to have a vegetable with my meat. I cannot eat just meat all the time. I think that's true for me most of the time, although I found that it kind of matters what kind of meat I'm eating, whether or not I feel like I need something to cut it. And I had a hard time too with like ground beef towards the end of the 30 days that I did it, where it's like, I need something with this because the texture was weird for me. But depending on what the meat was, I didn't always feel like I had to have something with it, but I totally understand that. I like vegetables. So
yeah. So God's dozer, 1 Corinthians 10:23.
Nope, I'm trying to push the wrong screen.
Yeah. So I just looked it up. All things are lawful, but not all things are helpful. And I know that's in the scriptures a few times. All things are permissible, but not everything is beneficial.
Yep.
And yeah, I really wish this was a black and white world, right? Yeah. But it's not. It is the joy of kings to search out a matter. So I just feel blessed with the ability to kind of seek out these things and what is permissible and beneficial for me, and how and it's subjective depending on who you are. Some things are not subjective,
right?
Other things are. And so this one, I mean, I see the one from acne again, Aki. Yeah, do something about the crazy LDL. I am doing something about it. I am I'm going to get more testing done to see what kind it is, because there's different kinds of LDL. There's dense ones and there's fluffy ones, and the fluffy ones do not matter. And there's a lot of research on these things, and the nuance of it is crazy and amazing. So I'm researching it. When my doctor said it's the high you ever saw, I was like, I guess I'm an overachiever. But there is some part of me that's worried about it. But there's also part of me that's not worried about it, because I've been doing research on it. So I'm learning about it. And just because it's conventional wisdom doesn't make it right. Could be right, and I could be totally wrong. And I pray that I it goes down, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I don't know. I feel like we are constantly trying to learn and figure out what the right answers are and what are the things that make sense for you in particular. And that's one of the things that I really liked about the coach last night when you came in and said, okay, for my height and my weight and my goals and whatever, this is what I need to do. Whereas most places you can do all kinds of research, but it's not tailored to you specifically.
Yeah.
And so just having that information and being able to say, okay, this is what I'm bringing to the table. What do I need to do? Like, that's a big deal. And I mean, I appreciate that you're taking it seriously. We are taking it seriously. It's not something that we're like, oh, that's a huge number. That's hilarious. Sorry. Like,
sorry, I just read a comment. Sorry.
We're trying to we're trying to make good decisions. We're trying to make healthy decisions. And it's a constant process. So we're not, this is absolutely what we're doing and we're never changing it and I'll take it to my grave, because that would be foolish. So
yeah.
You want that comment? This one?
Well, I mean, it made me laugh out loud.
Let me find it.
Fluffy LDL is like my aunt, loud but not threatening. Interestingly enough, this is stuff you don't need to know, but I work with a kid who's been helping me out, who's on house arrest because his aunt beat him up. So, I mean, he says his aunt beat him up, but he's the one on house arrest.
So the other kind of LDL would be like his aunt.
His aunt was the dense one.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry. Interesting videos about LDL. He makes it go up and down on purpose.
Okay. Yeah. Let me try to think. I just heard Dr. Carnivore MD Sildano, I believe. He was saying on a video he did with Dr. Ken Berry that when he first started carnivore, his went up to 500. So I'm slacking.
Yep. So
yep.
Yeah, we'll get more testing done and see where we go from there. We are about out of time.
Yeah, we're over an hour.
Over.
And not one kid has came in and got us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think, thank you for everyone that joined this live. I've really wanted to try to do. Are you hitting buttons?
I'm touching buttons. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So I really wanted to try to get to go live. I took all the comments off the screen so
you made it so I can't touch buttons.
But we're trying to do them once a month, and because I mean, it's fun. It's fun for us. It's just fun, and it's important to us to communicate with you guys. So yeah, just make sure that you continue the messages, and just nice meeting you and talking to you also.
Yes.
The messages, giving us good information when we bring these videos, any ideas of like content, things like that.
For sure.
It's really appreciated, and I'm very thankful for all of them.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Blessings to all. Kilby out.
And to all a good night.
Bye.